Well, Betty, thank you for taking some time to share with us. Could you just share with us a little bit about kind of your initial diagnosis and sort of your perspective on that and how God's been taking you through this health journey?
Okay. I had an X-ray and they found that I had cancer, and then I went to Carti and I did 3 treatments. They were pretty hard on me, and I was pretty rough with it. So we decided 3 was enough, and she would put me on a pill that I could take every day. And I had about 2 or 3 PET scans. All of them came back good. My cancer was disappearing a little more in with each PET scan, and I was doing fine. Then we went one day, and she said, "Well, I'm sorry that this PET scan shows that you have cancer in several other places, and that there's nothing more we can do for you. You need to go to hospice." Well, of course, that's kind of a scary feeling when you get told that, and you think you're going to go, and they're going to say, like they had the last time, everything's fine, and now you need to go to hospice. So we talked about it, and our son lives in Texas, so we decided that we would go visit him, and we'd try MD Anderson to see if they had any other suggestions. Um, I wasn't sure if that was a thing that I really wanted to do. Um, I just felt like God had already answered some prayers on I, after I found out I had it, and I needed to go to hospice. I decided He had answered some prayers. Didn't know if I really wanted to go, so I really been praying about it. And I said, um, we talk about it. We don't know what to do, and so I prayed God to show us just what He wanted us to do. And as Carl was finishing filling up the van so we could take off to go to Texas on a Saturday, I just started feeling worse and worse. And there was no way I could walk around. God was just showing me in that time that I just wasn't able to travel. So that that was one of my answers to my prayers. He has been so good to me, and I've done so much praying about it. And what do you think I need to do? He's answered all my prayers. And so one of my prayers was to get to go to Texas later on. Now that I feel a little better, to visit my son, and my grandson is they're having a baby shower for him. So we went. We have plans to go to Texas. Hopefully, God doesn't change him, but if He does, that's His will. And so we are planning that next week.
So, I mean, it's really cool just to hear you see something that could easily be seen as a setback, as a negative, and see God's will in that as an answer to prayer. But can you just share some other ways that you've just seen uh, that God has been with you through this difficult journey with the
Hmm.
cancer?
I grew up in a Methodist family. We never heard about salvation. Never heard about Jesus is our Savior. Didn't hear all that, but I went to Sunday school and church every Sunday. And when we were about 12 years old, the preacher had a class for a week every day after school, and he said that on Sunday we would meet and during the church service, and that we would join the church. And so we went all week, and we joined the church, and I felt so good. I was so excited. Um, I I was so happy that finally I had Jesus, and I just knew I had Him. I could just feel Him, and it felt good. But I had a friend that went to one of the other churches that talked about salvation, and I'd go with her on to the youth group on Wednesday night. And after I went a few times, I came home crying, and my mother would say, "Why are you crying?" And I'd say, "I don't know. There's something about that church." And then she said, "You probably need to stop going." Well, that wasn't what I felt like I wanted to do. I wanted to continue going. I was under conviction, but I didn't understand what that was. And so I just went, I would, was too shy to ask what I needed to do next. So by the time I graduated from high school, went to nursing school, worked on Sundays, worked 4 years before we got married, and I worked on Sundays, so I didn't get to go to church very often, so this kind of conviction kind of slid back. But when Carl and I talked about getting married, he said, I will get married in your Methodist church, but I won't go to your Methodist church. And I didn't understand what that meant. I started studying other churches. One of them was Church of Christ, and I would say to him, why do they do this? What's different in the Bible? Why they think that it's different than what the Methodist Church thinks? So we talked about that a lot, and finally they started a new Baptist church in town, and we went to it, and a preacher came from Arkansas, and he gave a really good message, and I could just feel it. And that night I didn't sleep. Um, Finally, after all my many years of wanting salvation, I finally got it that night. So God's been so good to us through the years. It seems like He's always answering prayers. So I just knew that this one last prayer was going to be it, and I would just follow what He said. And so I have, I've grown in the Baptist church, and it's really helped me a lot. And I prayed about death, and He's given me a good word about it. That I'm just ready. I'm gonna enjoy. He told me, enjoy these last few months or whatever you have left. Just enjoy them, and I will take care of you when you die. So I'm having a good time. I'm going to a baby shower this weekend of my grandson. I'm enjoying my life. I'm enjoying what's left of it. I have no fear of going to heaven.
Mm, that's really encouraging. Um, well, I appreciate you sharing kind of your journey through church and how God's walked you through that. And of course, the church that God has you in now during this chapter is Family Life. So, would you just be willing to just share briefly about what that's meant to you, how the church body at Family Life has been part of your journey?
The church body has been really good to me. I mean, they always have. As long as we've gone to church there, everyone's been so close. And we have enjoyed our visitors and what they've done for me. I've been down for quite a while now. People have been good to bring us food, and we've gotten many gifts from them. They're still coming. I got a bird feeder today, and everybody has been so good to us. And I just want to thank everybody, and I appreciate everything that everyone's doing for us.
Well, we appreciate you, Betty, and thank you for sharing your journey with us. And just we see Jesus in you as you go through this time, and we count it a privilege to be part of that journey with you. And we continue to pray for you and see God's grace showing up in your life. So thank you for sharing with us.
Okay.